1, go.
Catching up on the exhibitors of this year's 30th edition of the Innovation Africa Digital Summit, that's the IAD Summit, happening here in Victoria Falls. We are at Elephant Hills Hotel, joined with the Managing Director for State-Owned Enterprise Mobile Operator, Netone. Mr. Watkanga, thank you so much for taking your time to join us here.
Yes, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity.
No, we are greatly honored, sir. We understand that Netone has been also a proud partner and a sponsor to this IAD Summit 2015, this prestigious African event. What does this really mean to you as a mobile network operator partnering with such an event?
Yes, thank you very much. As Netone, we would like to take this opportunity to thank Extensia for organizing, accepting government's invitation to come to Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe, to host this August Innovation Africa Digital Summit. So when the idea was mooted, in fact our permanent secretary, Dr. Kundishore, is the one who really started quite some years back to try and get this summit, which puts together the experts in the ICT in Africa to try and chart new ways of addressing current challenges. So we are very happy that we participated. It also with the lead sponsor for the event.
Okay. Right, so we understand that also Netone, you've been playing quite a pivotal role. I don't know from you as an operator, what are the benefits of you taking part of such an event, IAD Summit 2015? Well, do you have any targeted expectations from such an event?
Yeah, yes, naturally we had expectations. I'm happy to say those expectations have largely been fulfilled. I think Victoria Falls is a very important tourist destination for Zimbabwe.
Definitely.
You might be aware that over the years, Netone has actually been supporting tourism in Zimbabwe. And so when the opportunity came, we gladly got onto it and made sure that we were there in full force. So the summit happening in Victoria Falls not only helps the ICT sector, of which Netone is a part, but it also helps the tourism sector in Zimbabwe.
Sure.
I must tell you, going back some years before the advent of mobile communications, we had a television company from Japan that came to Zimbabwe, and we directed them, instead of going to a refugee camp, we said, no, you need to see some of the good spots about Zimbabwe. So we directed them to Victoria Falls. And we arranged a microwave link from Victoria Falls through the microwave link all the way back to Mazoe satellite station. So they were able to connect their television cameras and they were able to lively broadcast live from Victoria Falls in Japan. It was TVSI. People in Japan were able to watch breakfast television, the happenings in Victoria Falls. This is way back in the late 80s. Yeah, live in Zimbabwe. And you know what happened? There were a lot of Japanese tourists that eventually came to Zimbabwe.
Interesting. I also think that this also gives us an opportunity as Technomed. We're also bringing this live to the world.
Exactly.
Thanks to the connectivity that you guys have already.
Now you can take your smartphone and go and visit the falls, and you'll be able to share that experience with your loved ones from wherever the world, wherever you come from. So we think the well-being of the tourism sector in Zimbabwe is also helping the ICT sector. So you can understand the motive behind our campaigns toward driving the tourism sector.
Okay, but besides the benefits, the obvious benefits for attracting tourism, you as an operator, what did you benefit from this?
Yes, I was coming to that. Very important. I think you may be aware that there are a number of challenges that operators like ourselves worldwide are actually facing. You see, there's been a development, mobile communications provides access to the internet, now. Now, the internet is a common platform. There's clever people out there who have been developing applications, which we encourage. But it also has a significant bearing in terms of our revenues. Everybody is being affected. So one of the key things is that the summit enabled us to meet with various content providers, application developers, and some very good ideas have come out of it. Very good ideas which we are going to implement. The theme of this summit was affordability and accessibility. Right now, we want to achieve both, make the services available to virtually everybody in Zimbabwe at an affordable price. So it is the strategies, right, that we think can be adapted by an operator like ourselves, trying to meet those objectives. That's some of the issues that we've shared and benefited.
Speaking of strategies that you as an operator are actually using, Mr. Kangai, I think in the past month or so, we woke up to some headlines that you have invested, if I'm not mistaken, like 200 million buying of what the ZBC was said to have not been wanting. I didn't fully understand how Netone managed to invest 200 million into Obsolete ZBC equipment. What was that deal really all about?
Yeah, I also saw the report, but totally misleading. What is happening is television broadcasting has been occurring in the UHF band in the 700 megahertz frequency spectrum.
Definitely.
Now, the migration towards digital television broadcasting brings a lot of efficiency, such that the broadcasters will not need as much spectrum as what has previously been occupied by the analog television broadcasting. So this therefore brings what is known as the digital dividend. So it then frees a lot of space, the spectrum. And the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, has made a decision that the spectrum that's going to be released as a result of digital migration can actually be used for 4G, fourth generation LTE mobile communication.
So what you bought was the spectrum, not the equipment?
What we bought, obviously, we would not need, we are not a broadcasting company.
That's what I was just wondering. Why did Netone buy?
What we bought is the 700 megahertz spectrum that's been released as a result of the digital dividend. That spectrum now, I come back to the theme of accessibility and affordability. Now, the 700 megahertz frequency spectrum, if it's applied in the fourth generation mobile, actually increases the propagation distance by as much as 2 to 3.
That's true.
Which means that we are now poised to provide coverage, broadband, high-speed broadband coverage to the rural areas
with LTE and 4G possibilities.
And 4G. So we are opening up a whole new business scenario, achieving those objectives, affordability and accessibility.
Oh, definitely.
So that's the strategy behind it.
And for a $200 million price tag, is that a viable move? And how would you justify that?
Well, government has launched ZIM Assets program, and the ZIM Assets it's been said so a number of times that ICT are a major catalyst for that ZIM asset, because they cut across all various sectors of the economy. So with that fourth generation broadband going into as deep as the rural areas, it means that we'll be able to leverage that connectivity across all sectors: health, education, agriculture, you name it. So it's a whole new business opportunity that's going to be created, which all in all is going to improve the people's lives. So there's a lot that needs to be done.
I beg to differ with you, Mr. Kangai, especially with your strategies. And I understand you are a national operator, but there have been questions and concerns on how much you are investing in the rural area as far as 4G technology. Do you think that is a good move for you as an operator? Does the rural community and the rural folk necessarily need the 4G west of the 3G connectivity, and are they utilizing it much to support your revenue streams?
Yes, if you look at the statistics coming out on Africa, population 1.1 billion people, 60%, that's average in Africa, 60% of the people live in the rural areas. In Zimbabwe, it is actually higher.
That's
it's
true.
About 70 to 80%.
That's where the people are.
That's where the people
but
are.
do they need that technology or use it?
Yes. You look at what was launched by the Vice President, Honorable Nangagwe, just 2 days ago.
The
in-hour platform. This platform enables e-learning. In that e-learning should also extend to the rural areas, isn't it? So for that to happen, you need that broadband connectivity.
Oh, I see.
And this is where we come in. We will provide that broadband connectivity. At the moment, they are using it via satellite. Satellite is more expensive. The deployment of a satellite terminal, we're talking of probably $1,000 upward, right? And then when you have done that, if you look at the satellite transmissions, it goes from that ground terminal to the satellite, that's 36,000 kilometers distance, and then another 36,000 kilometers. So there's latency, there's delay, which is very significant. Whereas with our 4G network, it's virtually instantaneous, right? So there's no latency or delay. So we expect, obviously, schools, which I think you are aware that His Excellency launched this program, providing every school with
computers and labs.
So now we're going to connect those computers
online now.
Online.
Okay.
So that education, everybody, regardless of whether they be urban or rural, they'll be able to.
So these are more of long-term investments than the short-term that we'll be looking into.
They are very short-term. These things we are right now doing some experimental tests.
Okay.
With doctors. There's a doctor that they are doing an experimental test right now.
All right.
Currently, it's using satellite, but we hope that when our 4G is up and running, we will be able to connect. Effectively, what it means is that the patients will go to a clinic, right? In that clinic, they will be linked to this 4G network, to this broadband, to a doctor who is quite far away, and the diagnosis will be done right then and then. So instead of them going to, say, from Guante Valley into Mutare, they will not need to do that.
They will just quickly send it via email the results.
The prescriptions will be given right there and then.
That's a national problem that you're solving there. Yeah.
So you can see the benefits.
Yes, right? Definitely. I was not seeing from the other side.
There's a lot of agriculture applications that will be derived from broadband services like that.
Okay, maybe just bringing you back to Harare. I'm personally excited about the possibilities of you. I think that means that officially Netone it becomes the only operator running on the 700 megahertz frequency, and the opportunities and the advantages that you're going to be having above all other operators, they're vast. You are going to be even able to push your 4G with very much less coverage, few base stations in these areas. More coverage with fewer base stations.
With fewer base stations,
yes.
With the existing base stations that we have, Normally 4G, you would actually need 3 or more base
Base
stations,
stations.
yeah, to achieve the same footprint
Yes.
with your 2G.
Exactly.
But we are going to reduce the number of base stations.
Because you've now reduced your frequency
Because
range
the 700 travels further, 2 to 3 times further.
further than the normal 1 point something that you are actually running on, which is an interesting opportunity for you as
Exactly.
Netone.
So you can see from a capital expenditure requirement, we're going to reduce our capital requirement.
Greatly
Capital
reduce.
expenditure requirements. And the benefits, I mean, really you can see the avalanche of benefits that will come out of it.
Then that means that you are re-strategizing. You're looking at how best you'll be able to capitalize on this new bandwidth spectrum that you've got.
Precisely. That's why. So I hope we have corrected that misinformation that is
Definitely.
We wouldn't buy analog equipment. It's of no use for us. But it's the spectrum.
It's the spectrum,
radio frequency
that has now been released for an operator to actually come in. Do we see other players also coming in the same spectrum, or it's exclusively a spectrum for US Netone?
Well, there was a tender that was put out by Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe, and we went and submitted a bid for the license, and we got it.
Or is it the latest tender that I saw Netone acquiring? It was running with another name, the tender for that.
Yeah,
it was a license for
what they call the data casting license.
Data casting license. Yes, I just lost
so
data casting
they
license.
had that tender, and we applied.
Is it the same thing with the same frequency, or data casting license is a different process altogether?
That's the license enables you to utilize that 700 megahertz spectrum.
Okay, right. No, I fully understand. Looking at Netone, Mr. Kanga, a few years back, Netone used to be the network that basically would cover places which no one else would cover. What is happening these days? Are the base stations dying? Are we not seeing enough coverage, or is the population increasing? We now have other places where Netone is no longer covering. But back then, we used to know that once you have a Netone line, at least that's the line that will cover across, especially rural and outside town. What is happening?
Yeah, the main thing that is happening there was, I would say 2 things. The first one is the frequent electricity power cuts.
Okay.
And so we didn't have enough resources to provide
the backup powers to that.
So then where you thought there was coverage, if there's load shed, then that base station goes off. Right, so we think the coverage is shrunk. Yes, it has shrunk, but the equipment is still there. But there's nothing to power the equipment. But we are in the process of putting more generators. We are actually going to be putting 500 generators this year, right? So that most of our stations, if not all, will have backup diesel generator.
Okay.
That's point number 1. Second point is that due to capital inadequacy, we have not been able to expand our base station, to increase the number of base stations. Is we implement the land reform program is being implemented. It's opening up new areas where people need network. So which also means that we need to put more base stations. But I'm happy to say that you are aware that last year His Excellency witnessed the signing by the Minister of Finance of this 280 million
with their Chinese way, yeah.
So that loan, everything is in place, and we are rolling out new greenfield base stations.
That was just my next question.
Yeah.
That
So
since the noise, what has happened so far?
We have the 4G equipment. It's being installed. A lot of stations have been installed. We are actually just doing the integration, onto the rest of the network. So within a matter of weeks, you will see us launch 4G network.
We're speaking of weeks now.
Yeah.
Is that a feasible time frame?
Yeah, it's very feasible.
Are you going to be rolling this with selected cities at national level, provincial level? How are you exactly going to be doing the 4G rollout?
Yeah, I think most of the cities will be provided in 4G.
Wow.
Yeah, including places where we are, like Victoria Falls, tourist resorts, they will all have 4G.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. We are looking forward. I think because of time, next time we'll find time to catch up with you on the latest catching up on the over TTs. I know you are not a fan of these WhatsApp and maybe just your few words on your entry into the.
I think let's just explain this over the top, your OTTs.
Yes.
Over the top players.
Yes.
The over the top players, as I indicated earlier on, they run on the internet platform, right? They don't actually have a network of their own.
That's true.
Right? So they use others' network, other people's networks, and provide services at a virtually cost to nothing.
Yes.
But you see what it is doing is it's pushing the operators to increase their bandwidth. You have to move from 3G to 4G.
Only to cater for that.
Yeah. But your returns, your revenues is going down because of yeah. So those are the existing challenges that operators worldwide are now facing. So one of the issues that we are looking at, and I'm happy to say that some ideas have come out through this summit, which we hope to be able to implement. We're not wanting to provide a service, it's more expensive, right? No. But let me say this to you. These over-the-top players, they are earning their revenue from Zimbabwe.
True.
Right? They don't pay taxes. You understand the harmful aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely. They're just coming in to get revenue and they're not investing anything at all.
They don't invest, they don't pay tax, they're actually riding on our networks. So, why not develop applications ourselves?
Yes, that run actually on those ones.
That run on our network.
And you actually get to generate funds from them.
Generate funds,
It's a good idea.
making it affordable to our customers, and also government will then be able to get taxes out of it. Rather than feeding these guys out there who don't pay no taxes to Zimbabwe.
But then Ms. Kanga, I think that raises the question that we have always spoken about. Instead of you thinking of another new product or a new application that probably would fight or compete against WhatsApp, are your rates, can they not be adjusted so that you still are much more profitable without necessarily trying to look for another application? Can you not at least work around your rates that including your text messaging? I don't find 8-9 cents justifiable for anyone to send a text message. That's why you guys have managed to create a monster that you are now busy trying to fight. Did you not create WhatsApp by having these higher rates also yourselves as mobile operators?
Well, that's, you see, the rates were obtained after a very detailed exercise that was conducted by the regulatory body, POTRA, to see the cost of capital. It actually identified the various components to be able to come up with the rates that they came up with. It was quite a transparent process. They used what is known as the cost plus pricing. You look at the cost, and then from there you determine the price. Very transparent. Okay. Yeah. But these are the technological developments that
are now just coming through, and then there are major disruptive technologies.
Disruptive technologies. So operators have to find ways of really coping under those circumstances, but still making the cost.
Do you think that's
affordable?
Sorry to just cut you short because of time. Do you think that operators like you, maybe in the future, may consider completely moving things like WhatsApp off your network? Would you think that could be an option, considering the negative implications that already causing to your operations?
Okay, we are looking at ourselves providing exactly the services these OTTs are providing, in addition to much more. That's what I think. You see, the best way to fight competition is not just to match the competition, but to provide more.
Okay.
That's our approach. We want to be able to make our services much more attractive to these OTTs, the over-the-top players. That's what you call them.
Yes.
We say others invest and they take the profit.
Which is an honest.
The reality.
Yes, that's an honest concern. I think if I was an operator, I would be sharing the same sentiments with you. But then also as a subscriber, I'm supposed to be sharing other sentiments. But anyway, Mr. Kangai, we thank you so much for taking your time to join us here at Technomec and sharing with us what has been happening. Maybe your last words to our viewers just before we shut down this interview.
Well, we would like to thank our viewers, the viewers and those that have been supporting Netone. We thank you so much, and we want to give you the assurance that this summit and all other resources that we have at our disposal will be used for the greater good, for making our services accessible to you, our customers, and also affordable to you.
That's the managing director with Netone, state-owned mobile network operator. Thank you so much, Mr. Kangai, for joining us here at the Technomec. From us in Victoria Falls, Elephant Hills Hotel, hope to see you soon again. www.technomec.co.zw. Later.